thing is, so far, you have voted against what the wind advisory has suggested. You've also voted against a no pilot, which the survey that the town did shows that you have more people that don't want the windmill, that don't want a pilot, as you do people who are for it. You have 2 surveys now at the North Country now that have shown the majority of people do not want a pilot, nor do they want windmills. Parrishville showed the same thing. You also have people that are working for the town, Mr. Green, who is a leaseholder. There's a lot of stuff going on here that doesn't represent our towns well. I'm asking that people who have conflicts should be abstaining from voting. And if...
Kelly, I think you're being unfair.
I'm not really being unfair.
Well, I think you are, because Steve has just stated that he is not closely related to anything.
And I understand that.
And I am not.
But what I am saying is, I'm trying to point out that our town is coming across telling you that the majority of people do not want windmills, nor do they want a pilot if they come. And people over there are shaking their head, no. I mean, the surveys are showing it, and all I'm asking is for you, you are on the board, and you should be representing the majority of the community in not having alliances to people who you've known or neighbors or things like that. You should be working for the people of the community as the majority wants. The windmill comes. I mean, have you seen the bases? Have you taken a look at the bases online, the size of them?
Yes.
It's going to destroy our land. It's already destroyed, I mean, friendships and things like that. It's already destroyed that. We should be working together, like Lori said. I mean, that was just so perfect what she said about the compromises. And that's what I'd like you to take a look at. The compromises are there. It's reasonable. It's not unreasonable. And I hope that you take a look at all of the work that the windmill, they put into it. And it's a good law, and it coincides with what Parrishville has said. So, thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, sorry, Lou.
No problem, I can wait.
First of all,
Address the board, please.
they don't have a majority. They're a majority in their minds. They reference themselves as concerned citizens. The roster that they submitted to the DPS shows 92 names, 30 of which belong to Hopkinton. That's 62 from Parrishville, 16 out of one family. The 30 in Parrishville are 2.5% of the Parrishville population. To be attacking, for Parrishville to be attacking this board is abhorrent. It's not easy for what they have to do. It's 2 for, 2 against.
Just,
I gotta ask, have you looked at any other revenue stream since this wind project has been put on town? You can't run a town on grants. The town is basically, it's in bad shape financially.
Can you prove that?
Excuse me?
let's have this time.
What I put to the board is, are you representing Hopkinton or are you representing Parrishville? So you got a good wind advisory board. They put a good draft out there. Totally, taken as such, rules out the project. You have to decide what you want to get out of this project. take what they have, modify it, work with the company, do the best you can.
We only have about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes.
I got 5
That's
minutes.
it.
No, you don't have 5
Oh
minutes.
my God.
All right,
Really?
this is a property line,
Yeah?
this is a
Rest
property,
the board.
this is a resident,
Vote,
Rest
the board.
sorry. This is a resident, this is a residence. She has a hunting camp in Hopkinton and a home in Parrishville. This is a wind turbine.
I'm the wind turbine?
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm
You
sorry,
don't
I
have to-
apologize, you guys. All right.
Okay. Well, everybody that's here that's concerned about this project, please raise your
Rest the
hand.
board.
And if you have children,
Rest the
you
board.
can raise your
Rest the
extra.
board.
All right.
Rest the board.
Anyone that's here that has serious concerns about this project, please raise your hand. And if you have children, raise your fingers so you can see they can see how many.
No,
And
no,
you
wait a
can-
minute, you asked if you got kids or are you against windmills? You're asking 2 questions.
Ricky, you better.
So
All
I
right,
just want to
I'm
make
just
sure
trying
I'm
to
raising my hand
indicate
for us.
that people are here that are concerned about windmills. All right, this is zoning for wind energy, a video that you are allowed to watch, and it's referenced in another thing. Are any developer's profits more important than these people's health, safety, and welfare? Are promised increases in tax revenue pilots more important than these people's health, safety, and welfare, or property rights? Are claims of private property rights by leaseholders more important than the health, safety, and property rights of the non-leaseholders? Are claims of green jobs or emission reductions more important than these people's health, safety, and property rights? And too often, health and safety are diminished in exchange for developers' promises of jobs or tax revenue welfare. But are those promises contracts? I don't think so. They backed off many times. Trespass zoning. My friends are here to indicate, by demanding that setback distances for wind turbines be measured from a home on an adjacent property rather than from the property line, which is typical of all other land use regulations, the wind developer is, in essence, asking that the regulatory body grant them trespass on the unleased property. That's what it means if the decibel levels are set from the residents rather than from the property line. If she owns 2 lots or a large piece, right? That could wipe out her property, her right to put a home here for her children. Okay. The wind developer wants non-participating landowners' property for free. Good neighbors don't demand their neighbor's property to be donated to their tenant. Sorry. This, in essence, gives future development rights of non-participating property owners to the developer for free. Non-participating property owners should be able to safely build anywhere on their property without concern for health, safety, or well-being, without ignoring the proper setbacks from their property lines. By making setbacks and noise level measurement from the outside wall of a residence rather than the property line, you are granting trespass privileges on property that has not been leased. You as a board do not have the right to jeopardize the health, safety, and property rights of non-participating property owners. The express goal of zoning regulation is to separate conflicting land uses from each other. By establishing setbacks and noise limits from neighboring homes rather than property lines, the conflicted use is actually granted legal access to the neighboring property without consent or compensation. This is fundamentally unjust. If you are regulating setbacks to serve as a proxy for noise regulations, then distances up to 1.25 miles from unleased property lines are reasonable. If you are using setbacks to protect property values, a distance of 2 miles must be reasonable. But a height limit may be more defensible in court. There's been much talk about trying to avoid litigation by going with the setbacks and decibel levels that the wind developer is seeking. Have you thought about the possible litigation that will be brought on the town by 50, 60, or 70-person lawsuit? You have been provided with supporting documentation of proper setbacks and decibel levels for a rural setting, and yet some of you continue to push on behalf of the wind developer instead of your own community members. Don't you see a problem with that? Important that setback to non-participant be at property line, or the ordinance is essentially awarding an uncompensated nuisance safety easement. I don't see Joe as a nuisance, but to the developer at non-participant's expense. Well, we were bringing
Gotta
up.
keep my balance.
Yeah, we were gonna bring a flashing red light to really, give you the full effect, but.
Okay,
Okay, so you get the
we
point.
got the point,
Thank you, thank you.
Go for it.
I had the opportunity to visit with a graduate from Hopkinton, the 91 graduate, he went off to Clarkson, got an engineering degree, and he now works in the Albany area at a nuclear plant. And he's been following this whole thing. He said, it's amazing what these wind companies are doing. They're coming up north. They won't touch us down where we have real people with brains. They come up here where the real community, this is what he's saying, the real community. And I said, well, how much did your nuclear plant put out as far as wind turbines? He said, probably 1,000. I said, really? And it's there, it's stable, protected, so he is a graduate from Hopkinton. He's watching this go on and he's saying, oh my God, I hope they don't get triggered. Sorry.
Ricky?
What does the town have for a 10-year financial plan? They have a 5-year.
We have 5 years.
In that 5-year plan, are you gonna go above your,
Probably.
alright? Now, is that addressing any of the bridges in this town that are gonna have to be addressed at some point sooner or later? Is there any money, you got any money budget for that?
That was not in when we did the original 5-year.
Have you got any money budgeted for a fire department that needs to be upgraded?
We don't have anything to do with fire department.
Does the town own the fire department?
No,
So who owns the fire department?
the fire district
The
owns.
fire district owns it, so where's their money coming from?
That comes from the taxes, but we
Okay, it comes
have
from the
nothing.
taxes, so.
We don't have any say in the budget.
Anyways, it comes from the taxes. What I'm getting at is when you're going over your tax cap, and you're gonna have to, you got problems you're gonna have to address. The outside residents of this town will not be here to offer you advice. They will not be here. They wanna tell you how for us to live in this town, and when it comes to the financial responsibility of this town, I don't think they're gonna be here. And you gotta go by the science. If these windmills were not cost effective or they were not right, they would not be building. The lawsuits would kill them. The lawsuits would eat them up.
Subsidy.
Would the lawsuits would ease up these windmills and they would not be here. They would not be anywhere. Western New York has them. Those towns have got no problems. Everybody there,
You just signed it right away.
Yeah. Hang on, it's not finished yet.
I'm just saying, they don't have a problem down there. If they do another expansion project, they open arms with the expansion projects down there. They went through this, and they did. They had a lot of controversy in the town. But after they got them, they realized it wasn't as bad as the rhetoric thought it was going to be.
That's
And
wrong.
they did another
They're being
expansion
sued right
after
now.
that. And second of all, the rhetoric about our taxes will go up if the windmills come. Well, our land is getting devalued as it is because of our taxes. And that's proven cases, and there's somebody in this room that can prove it to you, that the value of their property has gone down because the taxes are too high. And that is a fact. I'm not gonna, this guy wants to talk about it, he'll talk about it. But that's a fact. And you gotta look at this big picture here. There's nothing else going to be coming in this town for the next 20 years, 10 years, we don't know. And these small towns all across the country, they're having a hard financial time. And yeah, you could look at it, it might be a sale out, but you can do it so everybody can be compromised here a little bit. That's all I got, it's just,
Like your one chance after your
Yeah, it's your choice.
Yeah, oh, please do that.
one more page side, the other side. Apparently. I think you had your hand up first.
Just a couple of quick points. The question came back here.
Address them.
Answer the question. Question from the back.
Okay.
Regarding if the two communities have different laws, regulations, right from the Department of Public Service posted on June 16th, their staff said, if the setback and height requirements vary between involved municipalities, the DPS staff recommends that the applicant adopt the most restrictive regulations or develop uniform setback and height standards. So that means that if nothing changes, folks, the Avangrid will have to go by the most restrictive standards. Okay? Look online, the DPS site, and you'll see that in writing. My other 2 points are quick. I still have questions regarding Greg Crump and his ability to vote on these issues. I don't care what the lawyer said. Pat Curran pays the bills for those companies that were quoted in the decision. And it doesn't matter if it's Curran logging